Hello. I have been sort of off doing teachings for about 3 weeks, and I'm not yet ready to return to my teachings in Abraham, although I'm coming to them. I still have some more work I want to do on those, but I've sort of been taking a vacation, which I think I needed. I was very stretched very thin, and I needed some space. But during that time, one of the things that I did was my wife and I went on a kind of a spiritual retreat. We spent some time for our anniversary. We took 3 or 4 days off, went to a bed and breakfast, and spent the time together. And part of what we did is spend a lot of time praying through a lot of different things in our lives, and for our children, and for the direction God had wanted us to go. And one of the things that we looked at during that time was Psalm 63. And so let me just talk a little bit about this. I don't have a lot to say about this, but I hopefully it will be an encouragement for you. It was an encouragement for me for sure. So Psalm 63, let me read it first. It says, a psalm of David when he was in the wilderness of Judah. O God, you are my God. I shall seek you earnestly. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh yearns for you in a dry and weary land where there is no water. Thus I've seen you in the sanctuary to see your power and your glory. Because your loving kindness is better than life, my lips will praise you. So I will bless you as long as I live. I will lift up my hands in your name. My soul is satisfied as with marrow and fatness, and my mouth offers praises with joyful lips. When I remember you on my bed, I meditate on you in the night watches. For you have been my help, and in the shadow of your wings I sing for joy. My soul clings to you, your right hand upholds me. But those who seek my life to destroy it will go into the depths of the earth. They will be delivered over to the power of the sword. They will be a prey for foxes. But the king will rejoice in God. Everyone who swears by him, by God, will glory, for the mouths of those who speak lies will be stopped. Okay, so this has sort of three sections to it, although I'm not sure where the first and the second where the first ends and the second begins. It starts with, I earnestly long for you, God. I'm in a dry, it starts with a thirsty person. I'm in a dry and weary land where there's no water. And then in the middle, you have a satisfied person. My mouth is satisfied as with marrow and fatness. My soul is satisfied with the marrow and fatness. And at the end, we have a pray about the enemies that he's facing. Okay. The key to the whole verse, of the whole passage, is definitely this first one. Oh God, you are my God. I shall seek you earnestly. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh yearns for you in a dry and weary land where there is no water. And even though about 3 verses later, he's talking about being completely satisfied, nonetheless, underlying the thought throughout the whole psalm is this sense of, even if I'm satisfied in God, it's nonetheless something where I'm very aware of how much I need him. I'm very aware of how much I'm yearning for him. All right, so this says it's a psalm of David when he was in the wilderness of Judah. It's not completely clear when that was. Most people think that it's when he was running around in Judah from Saul. But it's also interesting that he calls himself the king at the end of the thing. The king will rejoice in God. I think he means himself. And he might not have called himself king if Saul was still king. I'm not sure. So some people think it means he just knew he was going to be the king. Other people wonder if this was when he was running around the wilderness from Absalom later on, which would also be running around the wilderness of Judah and would be later on in the time, in his lifetime. Okay. O God, you are my God. I shall seek you earnestly. The word earnestly can be translated early. I shall seek you early. The idea is seeking him with such seriousness and with such importance to it that you get up early in the morning to get it done as soon as possible. It's like, I'm going to get up early to be able to do this. I'm going to seek you first thing more than anything else. Oh God, you are my God. He's saying, he's not just saying you are a God, but God, you are my God. You're the one that I am deciding to live for, to seek, to look for. And he says, I shall seek you earnestly. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh yearns for you in a dry and weary land where there is no water. It's interesting that he says, my flesh yearns for you, because we tend to think of the flesh as that sinful part of us that doesn't yearn for God at all. But I think what he means is my entire being needs you. My entire being yearns for you. Whether it knows it or not, it does. And he's probably literally in a dry and weary land where there's no water, but his point, of course, is that it's also a metaphor. Just like I'm thirsty for water in this land, I'm thirsty for you, God, just like that. And just like this land is a barren desert place with no relief, that's what life is like without you. I need you that much. Um, okay, so let's see. The most important thing here is the idea of seeking God. Sometime I'll do a special study on that for something. I think there's a lot in the Old Testament, especially about the importance of seeking God. And those who seek God, it says there's all sorts of important spiritual blessings that happen when we're seeking God. There's all sorts of important reasons that we need to seek God. And this is one of the most important places that talks about that. The idea is this: God doesn't just want us to obey, although he does want us to obey, of course. God doesn't just want us to serve him, although he does want us to serve him. He wants us to look to him to be our answer for everything. He wants to meet every one of our needs, in his timing, in his way, of course, but not that we get to demand how it happens, but he wants us to find in him everything we need. And that is sensible because God is the source of all goodness. God is the source of everything desirable. There isn't anything you enjoy that the good parts of it weren't created by God or created by something that was created by God. I mean, just little things, eating a chocolate chip or something tastes good. That ability to have good tasting food, that's created by God. A sunset, that beauty in that sunset, that's created by God. Good friendships, that relationship, that the ability to have relationships, that's created by God. It says from him, in James 1, it says that every good and perfect gift comes down from the Father of lights, with whom there's no variation or shifting shadow. He's always giving good things, and he's the source of every good thing. So he's behind everything we ever desire. What happens, though, is we have gone wrong in our fallenness, and we keep seeking for the goodness that we can find in God in other places. We try to use the good things God has given as substitutes for God himself. So rather than looking to God to give us satisfaction, we look to the things to the money or the fame or the whatever else we can get from the world around us, and we look to that to give us what we want. And that's why it's interesting in the Old Testament, doesn't spend very much time warning us about selfishness, but it spends a lot of time warning us about idolatry. In other words, it doesn't say that it's wrong to want things. It says it's wrong to want them someplace other than God, to seek them in someplace other than God, to not trust God to give them. And what ideally our lives are lives where we are constantly looking for God to be everything we need and finding that he gives it. Now, he may give it through other things. God meets a lot of my needs through my wife, a lot of my needs through my job and through a church family and other things. But all that is still just coming from God ultimately. So anyway, my God, you are my God. I shall seek you earnestly. I'm going to really set my heart and my mind on the fact that it's you that I need more than anything. My soul thirsts for you, my flesh yearns for you in a dry and weary land where there's no water. When we were praying about this December, it just really, it occurred to me that when I have, even when I have just things that I'm unhappy with in my life, that always still reflects some way in which I am realizing my need for God. And that I can interpret the hard things in my life as reasons to remember how important God is. Okay, then he moves on and he becomes much more hopeful here. It's not just, boy, I'm vaguely dissatisfied. It's, you are everything I need. Thus I've seen you in the sanctuary to see your power and your glory. Those two C's are different words. Thus I've looked at you in the sanctuary to behold, to gaze on your power and your glory. Somebody said, God's power and his glory are like the two things we yearn for in him. We want to see that he's powerful. We want to see that he's glorious, that he's powerful and beautiful. Because your loving kindness is better than life, my lips will praise you. Why is his loving kindness better than life? Because everything that life has in it that's worthwhile comes from his loving kindness. He again is the source of everything. He's the source of all good things. And so his loving kindness is better than all of it. My lips will praise you, so I will bless you as long as I live. I will lift up my hands in your name. He's saying that's like a commitment. I'm going to always praise you because you're always going to be all that I need. My soul is satisfied as with marrow and fatness, and my mouth offers praises with joyful lips. Notice how often this section is about praising. My lips will praise you. I will bless you. I will lift up my hands, and my mouth will offer praises with joyful lips. But it's all again about finding satisfaction. 1 and 5 sort of mirror each other. I thirst for you in a dry and weary land where there is no water, and yet I'm satisfied in you. So to the degree that I'm finding you, I'm finding satisfaction. To the degree that I'm not, I'm not. And there's this kind of this mix in this psalm between yearning and satisfaction, but they're both here. And there's a way in which they can happen together. We can be yearning for God at the same time that we're satisfied in him at the same time. We can be satisfied for him in a way that also has a sweet yearning to know him even better. When I remember you in my bed, I meditate on you in the night watches. I don't know about you. I find that what I tend to think about as I'm going to sleep says a lot about my spiritual state and a lot about the sincerity or not of my desire for God. But I know that I'm likely to be doing pretty well spiritually if, as I go to sleep, I'm meditating on and thinking about God and his goodness. Now, David may have, the night watches were when you were staying up. So David might have been thinking here, not when I'm going to sleep. He might have been thinking when I get up in the middle of the night to check for enemies, or when I'm on guard or something like that. But either way, they're both saying that at night when it's all still, when nothing else is going on, and I'm just sort of thinking about you, he says, I'm satisfied in you. I think about you. I meditate on you. For you have been my help. I can remember all the ways in which you have been so good for me. I can remember the things you've done for me, and I can just be celebrating that in my memory and in my mind. And in the shadow of your wings, I sing for joy. The shadow of your wings would be like if he's a bird protecting its young by putting his wings over them and covering them. So like we're covered by God's wings, keeping us in the shade, in the shadow of his protection. And so we sing for joy. Think of a bird chirping away happily. We sing for joy because we are completely free and completely unworried and completely unafraid because we're being protected. And it says, my soul clings to you. Your right hand upholds me. A teacher one time gave this analogy. He said, not analogy, but this picture. He said, think of a father picking up his infant child. And you sometimes he'll bend over and pick him up and be holding the child with both hands, and the child's arms will go around the father's neck and be like holding on almost for dear life at the neck. And so the child is clinging to the father, and the father's upholding the child. And that's the picture he said that he has about God with this. And I think that's a good picture. It's like I'm clinging to God, but he's lifting me up and supporting me and holding me there. And so again, we've got the need for God, the seeking God, and then we've got all this stuff here about the satisfaction that there is in God. And then he moves to the last part, and he deals with the enemies, the things that make it so difficult for him. They make it difficult for him in a practical sense. He feels a need for God because he's being chased around the wilderness. But it also, for him, just points back to the reality that we all have a spiritual need for God. So he prays about this at the end. He says, those who seek my life to destroy it will go into the depths of the earth. He's confident that God will deal with them. They'll be delivered over to the power of the sword. They'll be a prey for foxes. They'll just be, which basically mean they've been killed. But the king will rejoice in God. Everyone who swears by him, by God, will glory, for the mouths of those who speak lies will be stopped. So he's surrounded by people who are speaking lies. He's surrounded by armies who are attacking him. He's surrounded by people who made him the enemy. But he says, I'm just confident that you will eventually deal with them. I'm confident that they will be destroyed and they will be stopped. And in the meantime, that I will rejoice in you. And he means not just because I'm going to have the right attitude. He also means because I'll live to do it. I will one day look back and say, God did indeed deliver me once again. So in the past, you've been my help. In the shadow of your wings, I sing for joy. In the future, I trust that you will be my help again. So the main thing here, I sort of feel like I glossed over it or didn't say it well, but the most important thing here, again, is the idea about seeking God. The heart of the psalm is the first verse. I shall seek you earnestly. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh yearns for you in a dry and weary land where there's no water. When I find myself, sometimes I'm in situations where my life is is going badly because there's circumstances that make it difficult. And when that happens, I can take my unhappiness or my dismay, and I can say, God, that just shows me how much I need you. Because it's not that I need the circumstances to be ended nearly so much as it's just that I need to draw closer to you. I need to be wrapped up in you. I need to know that you're protecting me. And sometimes I'm not feeling everything's going well. My circumstances are going well. And in that case, again, I need to say, that's just a reminder to me that you're the one who gives all good things. You're the one who is blessing me in every single way. And this is a psalm about really learning to see God as the source of all goodness. And God is the one we secretly are longing for in every way. And all the things we care about just point back to him. And all the things that we care about that are good for us point back to his goodness. All the things that we care about that we shouldn't, that are bad for us, they point back to the hunger we have when we're not right with him. And so I'll probably look at another of these Psalms next week, and then another one the week after that, and then we'll go back to Abraham. Thanks. See you next week.